What if I told you that a habit you do almost every day could be stressing out your cockatiel, even though she still climbs onto your hand, sings, and seems completely normal? Sounds strange, I know. After all, if she still interacts, still seeks affection, still seems happy day to day, how could something so simple be harming her well-being? Well, that's exactly where the problem lies. Stress in cockatiels almost never shows up, obviously. It's silent, gradual, almost imperceptible, and that's exactly why so many owners, even the most dedicated ones, end up not noticing in time. Have you been through this? Have you noticed your cockatiel getting a little more skittish, biting more often, or simply losing that spark of curiosity she used to have? Many people associate this with a phase, passing stress, or even the bird's personality. But most of the time, there's a much more specific cause behind this behavior change, and it's directly linked to how we interact with these animals every day without realizing the impact it has on their emotional health. Cockatiels are incredibly sensitive birds. Unlike dogs and cats, they don't show discomfort explicitly right away. Instead, they adjust gradually. They reduce their trust, avoid certain movements, become more defensive, or simply stop interacting the way they're used to. And the most concerning part is that this process can take weeks or even months before the owner notices that something has changed. By the time it's finally noticed, there's often already a pattern of behavior that's difficult to reverse. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to discover might surprise you. There's an extremely common habit present in the routine of thousands of owners that directly impacts stress levels, trust, and even the quality of the bond between you and your cockatiel. And the most striking part is that this habit, most of the time, is done with good intentions. People do it thinking they're helping, caring for, or even strengthening the relationship with the bird, when in fact the opposite may be happening. In this video, you'll discover what this habit is that thousands of owners repeat without realizing it, why it affects a cockatiel's mind so much, and how small daily changes can completely transform the well-being, trust, and quality of life you share together. We'll also look at how to identify early signs of stress, long before they turn into harder-to-handle behaviors like frequent biting or constant withdrawal. But before revealing this habit, you need to understand something very important about how a cockatiel sees the world. These birds don't think like we do. They don't process experiences the same way humans or even other more common pets do. They live in a constant state of environmental awareness, and every gesture, every movement, every change in routine can be interpreted in ways most owners would never imagine. Understanding this perspective is essential to understanding why certain habits, even the most innocent ones, can have such a big emotional impact on them. Before continuing to reveal this habit, let me tell you something quick, because I think it's important to be honest with you. Videos like this one, which touch on such specific points of cockatiel behavior, only keep existing because there are people on the other side of the screen who genuinely care. And that's exactly what makes all the difference here. If you've already noticed your cockatiel's behavior changing, becoming more skittish, biting more, or pulling away a little, leave a comment below about what has caught your attention so far. Seriously, write it in your own words, share your experience, what you've noticed, what worries you, or even what made you curious. These comments aren't just numbers for the video. They show me and other people watching that this kind of content really helps people who have a cockatiel at home. And honestly, it's often your own comments that give me ideas for future videos, because they show exactly which questions still need answers. And if this topic has been making sense to you so far, if you've already recognized some of these behavior changes, do me a favor, like this video. It might seem small, but it's not. Every like helps this content reach more owners who might be going through this exact same situation without knowing why. A lot of people are in that exact moment, right now, trying to understand why their bird changed, and your like could be the reason this video reaches that person. Oh, and speaking of not missing anything, click the bell, the hype button. Yes, that one. Because every week there's new content coming out here with information that really makes a difference in your cockatiel's routine, behavior, and well-being. And there's nothing worse than missing an important video just because the notification didn't reach you. So turn on the bell, because I guarantee it'll be worth following closely. And if you've made it this far and feel like this is the kind of content you want to keep receiving, calmly, without wasting time, straight to the point about cockatiel behavior, then this is the moment to subscribe to the channel. Your participation here is literally what keeps this channel going and growing, reaching more and more people who, just like you, want to better understand these incredible little animals and avoid mistakes that often hurt them unintentionally. With that done, let's continue. because now it's time to show you exactly how a cockatiel sees the environment around her, and why this perception is the key piece to understanding the habit we're about to reveal. A cockatiel's brain works very differently from ours. Before revealing the habit itself, you need to understand a hidden truth that completely changes the way we see these birds. Cockatiels don't think like we do. Over thousands of years, they evolved. As prey animals, this means their brain wasn't shaped to relax but to survive, and surviving in nature depends on one thing: constantly identifying risks. While our brain seeks comfort, theirs seeks security. Every noise, every sudden movement, every abrupt approach is instantly analyzed as a possible threat. It's a mindset built by evolution itself. What seems like a completely normal, everyday gesture to us can seem unpredictable or even dangerous to a cockatiel. And here's an important revelation. Emotional security is just as essential to her as food and water. It's not an exaggeration or oversensitivity. It's pure biology. When that security is constantly threatened, even subtly, the emotional impact is real, and the decisions the bird makes day to day start to change. It's exactly at this point in this silent transformation of how she sees her environment that the habit we're about to expose is born. Comment below. Prey mindset. The habit that's stressing out your cockatiel without you realizing it. The core habit we've been building up to is simple, silent, and precisely because of that, so dangerous. It's the habit of insisting on physical contact, even when the cockatiel has already subtly shown she wasn't comfortable in that moment. Picking her up to give her affection, moving your hand closer when she pulls away a little, insisting on interaction, thinking that, over time, she'll get used to it. This happens in situations that seem completely harmless. When taking her out of the cage, trying to pet her head while she's still adjusting to the environment, or insisting on holding her in front of visitors just to show off how docile she is. Most owners do this with the best intentions, believing this constant contact strengthens the bond. But in the cockatiel's mind, this insistence is interpreted differently, as an invasion of her safety space, repeated over and over. And here's a hidden truth that needs to be said. The fact that she doesn't fly away, doesn't bite, and just stays there still, doesn't mean she's okay. Often it's the opposite. It's a survival decision, not a comfort one. It's exactly this misunderstanding that opens the door to understanding the true impact of this habit on her trust. The silent signs she tries to show before giving up this whole behavioral transformation doesn't happen out of nowhere. Before any more serious problem appears, the cockatiel has already tried several times to communicate that something wasn't right. The problem is that most of these signs are too subtle for someone who doesn't know what to look for, and they end up going unnoticed in the middle of the daily routine. A small change in posture is already a warning sign. A lower body, stiffer, less relaxed than usual. The crest also tells a story. When it's flattened frequently or changes position unusually in certain situations, that's already an indicator of discomfort. Vocalizations change too. Less singing, sounds different from usual, or even silence in moments when she would normally react. Bites that seem to come out of nowhere are also part of this warning journey. They're rarely random. They're almost always a response to built-up discomfort. The same goes for avoiding contact, pulling away, refusing to leave the perch or cage when that wasn't a problem before. And there's a sign that often goes almost unnoticed: excessive, repeated preening as an attempt to relieve internal tension. All of this forms a real map of emotional backstage clues, revelations that appear long before any more serious problem arises. And it's precisely by understanding these signs that we can identify the true impact of this habit on her mind. The mistake that makes many owners make the situation worse. Here's a hidden truth that needs to be faced head-on. When the cockatiel starts showing these signs, and the owner responds by insisting even more on contact, thinking they need to prove they're trustworthy, the stress doesn't decrease, it multiplies. It's a dangerous cycle because the intention is good, but the impact is the opposite of what's expected. This happens because many owners misread the bird's behavior. She pulls away, and it's read as, she's just being moody. She bites, and the thought is, I need to insist so she accepts my hand. She stays still, tense, unreactive, and that's read as, everything's fine, she let me. But in practice, each of these forced decisions pushes the bird one step further into a state of constant alertness. A practical example: owners who hold the bird even when she tries to break free, or who insist on taking her out of the cage when she clearly resists. Over time, this creates a cockatiel that appears obedient, but who has actually only learned that resisting doesn't help. And here's the difference that changes everything. Obedience is not trust. A bird that trusts you approaches by choice, not out of resignation. This is the real journey of transformation that needs to happen. Understanding that respecting her limits isn't weakness, it's the real path to rebuilding the emotional security that was lost. How to help your Cockatiel feel safe again. After understanding the problem comes the most important moment in this journey, real transformation. And the good news is that rebuilding your Cockatiel's trust doesn't require grand gestures. It requires consistency. It's small changes in mindset, repeated every day, that gradually give her back that sense of security she lost little by little. The first step is giving the environment predictability. Remember how her brain is always looking out for risks. A more predictable routine, with similar times for feeding, bathing, and interaction, drastically reduces this constant state of alertness. That alone changes everything. The second point is allowing her to have choices. Instead of forcing her out of the cage, leave the door open and wait for her to decide to come out. Instead of insisting on holding her, offer your hand and let her choose to come closer. This freedom of choice is what builds real trust, very different from the obedience we talked about before. It's also essential to learn to respect the moments when she simply doesn't want interaction. This isn't rejection, it's communication. And when you respect that limit, you're in practice proving to her that it's safe to be near you. The impact of these daily changes is much greater than any one-time occasional gesture. It's through repetition that trust is rebuilt, one small step at a time. Comment below, trust is built. How a happy Cockatiel shows she finally trusts you. After this whole journey of change, there's an incredible moment every owner waits for, realizing the bird truly trusts you. And the signs of this are much more beautiful than any forced obedience could ever be. A Cockatiel who feels safe starts seeking out your company spontaneously, without needing insistence. She comes to you of her own free will, and that completely changes the energy of the relationship. Another sign is relaxing around you. A loose body, natural feathers, no tension, is a real indicator that she's no longer in a state of alertness in your presence. This is a direct result of the mindset transformation we've discussed throughout this video. She also starts exploring the environment more, with curiosity, without fear of moving away and coming back. She learns more easily because a brain that isn't overloaded with risks has plenty of room for new discoveries, and natural behaviors like singing, playing, stretching, and interacting freely appear much more often. And this is where the true impact of everything comes together. Real trust never comes from insistence. It comes from a constant feeling of security. That's the decision that truly transforms the relationship between you and your Cockatiel day after day. Comment below, real trust. If you've made it this far, it's because this topic really made sense to you, and I'm genuinely happy about that. Understanding your Cockatiel's mind this way changes everything. It changes the way you interact, the way you observe, the way you build every small moment of trust with her. And since you've made it to the end, leave a comment here. I got the signal. That way I know exactly who stuck around until this part, and I can bring more content tailored to the reality of those who truly care about their bird's well-being. If you haven't liked this video yet, do it now, because every like helps more people avoid these silent mistakes we talked about here, and that creates a real impact on the lives of Cockatiels who depend completely on the people who care for them. And if you want to keep discovering signs, behaviors, and messages that most people ignore every day, subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss any content that could help strengthen this relationship between you two even more. There's a video right here next to this one that goes really well with this topic. Click it and keep going with me over there, because the journey to understanding your Cockatiel doesn't end here.